Once you reach the limit of what you're able to achieve in your interaction with your users using message boxes and input boxes, probably about time that you started to look at user forms. A user form is effectively a posh dialog box that allows you to add lots of different data types and objects to it to interact with users. If we use the user form example file, there is an example. On sheet 1 there is a grey button that says start here, so we click start here, which then triggers a user form. This is a user form. It has two option buttons. It has a label, it has a title so we know what's happening, and it has a command button that allows us to carry out actions. When I click this save command button, I get a box, you are undecided, because I haven't answered one of the questions. If I select female and save, I get told I've selected female, and you'll have noticed the word female appears over here in B3. So your user form can interact with the Excel spreadsheet. It's not something separate that sits above. It can interact with the sheet. And just to prove we work, I choose male, save. Again, I'm told by a message box that I'm male, but it affects the contents of the cell B3. So where are these user forms and how do I access them? Well, let's close the one we have here. And we'll have a look in the Visual Basic. You'll see the user form is over here under a form section. If I double click, it will open the user form, and there you can see the form in design layout effectively of the one that you've just seen in Excel. Now you create your forms, you add your objects. This is the toolbox here, and we're looking at obviously adding some of these to create your forms. Your forms are resizable. If I make that bigger, go to Excel, start here, I get a bigger form. So I physically control the size of the form. Obviously, if I've got a lot of interaction and a lot of different data boxes, I want a larger form. You can then add code behind, for example, the save button here. If I double click that, I trigger the code. Here we have command button 1 click, and there's some ifs in here and message boxes, and you can see here this is where the work is being done. So when I click that save button, it's checking the value of option button 1, which was the male value, and puts that value into range 3 and out into a message box if it's true, if it's selected. If not, it checks the second box. Again, puts the value out into B3 and a message box. Else, we get you are undecided. So that's at the beginning when nothing is selected. So these are your user forms. We insert them from the insert menu, insert user form. So you can have as many as you like. You can add code to them simply by double clicking any of the objects. I could add code to the label, in fact, just double click it. You see I get a sub procedure already built for me. Label 1 underscore click. So if someone were to click the label, we could make something happening. Even something as simple as you shouldn't be clicking the label. But the trigger of the actual form itself is done from a module. So here we have a module. It says display the form, and it's simply the name of the form, so it's user form in this case, userform1.show displays userform 1. When it's in display mode as it is, the code within the user form is then what triggers. So we double click this button, we click that button, we make that choice. All catchable, all using the VBA that we've looked at already. So this is the basics of a user form, and obviously they can get more and more complicated. They're there really when the message box and the input box don't quite meet your needs. You can build one of these user forms, posh dialog boxes, to interact more with your users.